This January has been so busy. It's summer here and it feels like everyone and everything is just so manic and busy, like little ants. My husband earlier this month had a major operation, and so we're all feeling a little bit wobbly, but it went well and he's on the mend. And the other thing that's happening is we're having a lot of work done on our house. So it's on the outside of our house next to my studio. We're having the deck raised and I can still access the art studio, but it's a little bit more tricky. Hi there, welcome to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is Alyssa. I'm an artist in Perth, Western Australia. And today I wanted to chat about animal archetypes in this video. So just so we're on the same page, animal archetypes are defined as symbolic representations of primal energies, psychological traits and instinctual behaviours derived from the collective unconscious, often acting as spirit guides, totems or mirrors of human nature. Looking at that one thing of the animal can provide inspiration and meaning to our work, especially like if you are a person who likes to create in a way where you're using, where it's not abstract, so it's a little bit of realism tied in there or a little bit of storytelling tied in. So hopefully this will inspire you. I think one way I sort of think of looking at symbols, especially animal symbolism, as really connecting with our inner child. So how do we incorporate animal archetypes in our artwork? You could even just start by asking yourself the question that you hear heaps of little kids ask each other, you know, what's your favorite animal? And see what comes up, because often the things that we're drawn to have got, you know, when we scratch below the surface and do a little bit of research on that particular animal, we find all of these stories and myths and just layers and layers and layers of meaning, and that can just really enrich your experience of doing art and just be a launching pad for what you're going to create, kind of a thing. I think that sometimes we get stuck because there's so much around us and it's difficult to know what resonates. And so this is just something that is really simple that you can latch hold of, and it can take you on quite a journey. So I wanted to share with you my process of working with archetypes and symbols and how I do it in my own artwork. I tend to be fairly investigative in my approach to things. In other words, I like to unravel whatever symbol I'm drawn to and let it sort of become like a mystery to solve almost. Animal archetypes can provide wisdom and sort of a form of medicine for the soul, I think. And so lately I've been really drawn to the archetype of the wolf. And I think it's because I've been very focused on my pet dog, Stewie, and obviously wolves are, you know, dogs' ancestors. And so, yeah, I guess I'm looking for the animal medicine in it. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you how I've approached the archetype of the wolf and incorporated it into my own art, and yeah, just how I've delved into the symbolism and what's become of it. So I hope you enjoy. So I found a very obscure Russian fairy tale called The Tale of Tsarevich Ivan the Firebird and the Grey Wolf. And I actually ordered a copy from Amazon, so it came, I've got the hard copy, which is lovely, and the illustrations are beautiful. Anyway, so I'll just explain it in a nutshell. Oh, by the way, I'm using in this picture, I did a few little pictures of the wolf, but this one, it's just pastel. I have not touched pastel for the longest of times, and I wanted to just keep it simple, so I just used pastel and paper, just basically black paper. So it was kind of really fun, and it wasn't too overwhelming in the sense of using a bunch of different materials. So back to the story, I'll just try and tell it in a nutshell. It's about a Tsar who has the most beautiful garden in all the land, and the best thing in his garden is this tree that has golden apples, but something is stealing his apples each night. And so he asks his sons, you need to go and find out what is stealing the apples. And it turns out it is a firebird. And the youngest son beseeches the father to let him go and try and track this firebird down, because the other two brothers, I don't know, they kind of got sidetracked. And he ends up at this forest where it says, who rides straight forward shall know both hunger and cold. Who rides to the right shall live, though his steed shall be dead. Who rides to the left shall die, though his steed shall live. So in all of those choices, there's not much choice, really. But he decides to go the path where he will live, but his steed will, or his horse will die. And he ends up meeting this grey wolf who devours his horse. I know, that's a bad thing. But the wolf ends up feeling sorry for Ivan and says that he will help him on all of his exploits. So he lets him ride on his back, and he's faster than a horse and obviously as big as a horse in this story. And he takes him through all these adventures, and he ends up doing the biddings of other Tsars that he's come across who have things, golden things that are missing. And it all ends happily ever after. The wolf saves him from death when his brothers chop him into little pieces. Very macabre. But the wolf is there and shapeshifts for him and is there at his beck and call, which is kind of very much the way wolves have been portrayed to me in a lot of what I've read about them. You know, they're very communal and loyal, and they walk with you to the end. And even just my relationship with my little dog, he's getting old. Not little dog, he's a medium dog. But he's getting old, and, you know, I just think of how he's just focused on me and on us and on his family. And he will keep going until, you know, his last legs, kind of a thing. He's just so loyal and faithful. And I know that's a trope, but it's true. It's the reason why it's a trope. I have a book called Animal Speak, which is by Ted Andrews, and it's on the spiritual and magical powers of creatures great and small. And he unpacks a lot of the symbolism found in our animals that we see and that we come across that are in our world. And this is on wolves, and he says, I'll just read it. Wolves are probably the most misunderstood of the wild mammals. Tales of terror and their cold-bloodedness abound. Although many stories tell otherwise, there has never been any confirmed attack and killing of a human by a healthy wolf. In spite of the negative press, wolves are almost the exact opposite of how they are portrayed. They are friendly, social, and highly intelligent. Their sense of family is strong and loyal, and they live by carefully defined rules and rituals. Wolves are the epitome of the wild spirit. The wolf has a capacity for making quick and firm emotional attachments. Learning to trust your own insights and to secure your attachments accordingly is part of what wolf medicine teaches. The wolf can help you to hear the inner voice and guard you from inappropriate actions. It will guard you as it teaches you, sometimes strongly, sometimes gently, but always with love. When wolf shows up, it is time to breathe new life into your rituals. Find a new path, take a new journey, take control of your life. You are the governor of your life. You create it and direct it. Do so with harmony and discipline, and then you will know the true spirit of freedom. What a beautiful thing, what a beautiful way to express how wolves can teach us. Just going to show you my wolf painting. So this one, I actually started off thinking a lot about the Egyptian Anubis, which is, you know, it has the head of a jackal and the body of a person, a man. And I was kind of fascinated by how the Anubis takes people into the underworld and, you know, oversees mummification and things like that. And just the fact that there would be a god connected with sort of the portals of death was interesting to me. So I think that, you know, it just morphed into a wolf, really. It's basically what happened. And I just had the idea that these two wolves were guarding something. So I almost had thought it reminded me of, well, today at the moment, it reminds me of, you know, the Celtic thin places that you have. So certain places that you can go in the forest that where the spirit world and the real world, the material world sort of meet. And that's sort of the idea behind this empty space behind the bigger wolf there, just like between those two trees. It feels like there's something that they're guarding. I really wanted to express that mysterious forest vibe, I guess. I find that out of any landscape that I'm drawn to, the forest feels really mystical, magical, and it inspires just all of my imagination. It really does. It takes me into a different realm. If you've watched this far, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day and keep creating, and God bless. Bye. Before I uploaded this video, my own sweet dog passed away. So this video is dedicated to him. Rest in peace, Stewie dog. We love you so much.